Hello, I am Miss Griffith, and I am going to go over another social emotional lesson today. When I say social emotional, I'm referring to lessons that might work on social skills, so students' abilities to interact with those around them, or I might work with emotional skills of how students or children are feeling. So this lesson is going to deal with more with students' feelings. The purpose of this lesson today is to talk about things that children or students might be able to control and things that are outside of their control. So I am going to say a few things and then I'm going to put it in my control or in this circle if it is in my control or in control of the students. And if I say something that is out of my control or out of control of the students, I'm going to put it on the board around to indicate that it's outside of my control. The first thing is how hard I try. So if I'm a student and I have a math assignment in front of me, I can either put forward 100% effort and try my hardest, or, I can just put forth a little bit of effort. That is certainly in my control. How hard I try is inside of my control. How hard I try is in my control. Now, something else that we're going to determine if it's in my control or outside my control is what maybe my best friend moves away. I'm in school and my best friend in my class moves away to a new state. If I'm thinking, am I in control of her family relocating or moving? I am not. So, unfortunately, if my best friend moved away, that would be something outside of my control. If my friend moves away, that is outside of my control. Now, I want us to think about how people treat others. So, again, if I'm a student and I interact with other students in the school setting, how I treat those others, how I treat others is going to be in my control. Whether I'm nice to others is in my control. Whether I'm mean to others is in my control. How I treat others is something that I can control. Okay. And the next thing that I want to discuss is things that already happened. So, say, let's see, as a student, for breakfast they had waffles at school, and I just don't like waffles. Now, I go about my day as a student upset because they didn't have what I wanted for breakfast. So let's think. Things that happened in the past or things that already happened, those are things that are outside of your control. Things that happened in the past should stay in the past. And unfortunately, those are out of your control. Okay. the next thing that I want to discuss is what other people think. So if I'm a student, possibly one of my friends or classmates thinks that music class is no fun. Am I in control of what others think? I am not. So what other people think is outside of my control. So what other people think is something that is outside of my control. Now, what about if I'm a student and I don't study for a math test? I know it's coming up and I do not do anything to prepare for it. And because of that, I get a bad grade. Me not studying and me earning a bad grade is in my control because most likely, if I would have prepared for the test, if I would have studied, I could have got a better grade. So studying and schoolwork, for the most part, is in my control. Now, I mentioned that I am not in control of what other people think. I am also not in control of what other people say. So if other people are saying negative things, that's not necessarily something that I can control. What other people think and what other people say are outside of my control. Now, my thoughts and my attitude are something that is in my control. So if I have positive or happy thoughts, that's in my control. If I choose to have a negative attitude and be in a bad mood, that is also in my control. So my thoughts and attitude are in my control. To review, things that are inside the circle are in my control. So how hard I try, in my control. How I treat others is in my control. Studying and schoolwork, for the most part, is in my control. My thoughts and attitude are in my control. Things that are outside of the circle are not always in my control. My friend moving away, not in my control. What other people say, outside of my control. Things that already happened, outside of my control. And what other people think are outside of my control. Students, I want you to try to focus on the things that you can control as we move forward. Bye.